All right. Hello, tribe. We are back. Us is back in the building.
What's
This is
up,
Hey, what's up? This is Dre with my co-host.
Renee? What it do?
What it do, people? What's popping in the streets? We hope that you all are ready for the conversation we gonna have because it's gonna get heavy. We want to educate y'all, make sure that y'all are prepared out here in these streets because it's going down. Right, Renee?
I believe so. Yeah. You guys can't see me, but I'm nodding my head in agreement.
So, what's our topic today?
Our topic today is survival, Black American survival.
Mm, y'all hear that? Black American survival. And I want to start off with one of my favorite all-time hip hop groups. It's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. No Black American is safe from. That's what Mobb Deep should have said. But that's another topic of discussion. Cause we're gonna be talking about white supremacy, and man, like I said, it's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be heavy. So
You
let's
guys
let's
might want
get
to
into it.
buckle in because this show might go a little bit long tonight.
Yes, we got our notes. We done did the Googles, and we're gonna go all the way in. So Renee, you want to kick off on educating the folks? What is white supremacy like? What did you find out doing your Googles, even your personal life, facing white supremacy as a Black American?
Well, white supremacy, I want to start off by saying it's a global system in which white people, excuse me, white supremacists, because not all white people are white supremacists, but you can suspect a good portion of them as being white supremacists or white supremacist sympathizers. So what I learned just throughout life is that white supremacy is a big illusion, that they're all in this special club that you're born into, and they use whatever the perks of the club membership against you.
Mm, mm-hmm.
What
That's
about
true.
you?
White supremacy, to me, as you mentioned, global power, and I did some research on it from this website called brown/watch.com, and they
Mhm.
quoted Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. And I'm going to read you all the
Ashe to the
definition real
ancestor.
quick. Did you read it too?
No, I'm just saying ashe to the ancestor.
Yes, all shades to her. So this is what this article has said. It says racism and it says white supremacy is a local and global power system and dynamic, structured and maintained by persons who classify themselves as white, whether consciously or subconsciously determined, which consists of patterns of perception, logic, symbol formation, thought, speech, action, and emotional response as conducted simultaneously in all areas of people's activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war, for the ultimate purpose of white genetic, y'all hear that, white genetic survival, and to prevent white genetic annihilation on planet Earth, a planet upon the vast majority of people are what classified as non-white, black, brown, red, and yellow by white-skinned people, and all the non-white people are genetically dominated in terms of skin coloration compared to the genetic recessive white people. That
Exactly.
is white supremacy, people. And there's layers to it. And I think people just think, oh, it's not layers to it. It's just, if someone calls me a nigger, oh my God, that's white supremacy. No, no, no. There's layers to white supremacy. And we're going to
Yeah,
touch on all that tonight.
exactly. Again, like you said, with those layers to white supremacy, a lot of people think that just being called nigger is racism. That's how they just they're gonna call me a nigger or a spook or a coon or something like that, and I know they're racist, but it doesn't work like that. The most dangerous type of racist is the one that can smile in your face.
Yes. I call that racism. That's like graduate school racism, right?
Yeah,
Um, it
refined, a refined
refined
racist. Yeah,
racism. Sophomore racism, elementary school racism is, oh, you a nigger, name calling. But there's levels, and there's like, you got in school 100, 101, 200. We're talking about like 500, 600 classes. So we're talking about the graduate level. And so many people just don't realize that white supremacy has so many different levels and structures to it, as we mentioned before.
Exactly.
Yes, yes, yes. So I had told Renee today, well, actually last week was researching, and this awesome chart fell into my lap. It says 10 things every Black person in America must understand. And the number one, which we're talking about, white supremacists have officially waged a holy war against you. They call it Rohoa. That's what I'm gonna
Yes,
say.
that's how it's pronounced. It's the Rohoa. And like you said,
Mm,
it is a holy war. And understand that white supremacy is the religion. And
mm-hmm.
what is a religion? Well, Neely Fuller teaches us that a religion is a strong belief backed up by action.
Mm-hmm.
And what action backs it up? Well, they converted a lot of people at the end of a gun.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And so many people don't know about this holy war that was actually founded by it was a concept that was founded by this person called named Ben Clayson. That sounds like Ku Klux Klan,
Cleason,
right? Cleason. Thank
Big
you.
Cleason,
Cleason.
yeah, Cleason.
Sound
He
like
wrote
Ku
a
Klux.
book. It's
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the name of the book right now. This is just, I'm going off the top of the head right now. I can't think of the name of the book, but what he did is, like, he says white people have to wage war against the mud people.
Right. The mud people. And as we mentioned, because it's a mud race of right now, and as we mentioned, who's the mud people? What do mud closely resemble? Black,
Black,
brown, red, yellow, all mixing together.
yeah,
Black folks. And so many people just think, oh my God, because it says yes, rage against war against Jews and non-whites. But we all know it's war against us. Who do we see get gunned down, mass incarceration, prisoner pipeline? Black people, globally and locally.
exactly.
Yes.
And
Anything
so
you want to touch on? Go ahead. Keep
I
going.
was just going to say that to just put it in a perspective, Rahowa, it loosely resembles the military definition of a jihad, which is an
Mm,
armed struggle against non-believers. I know people hear jihad and they automatically assume Muslim, like infidel fighting and everything like that. But
mm-hmm.
see, there's two definitions to jihad. One is the non-military version of jihad is like one of the pillars. You're fighting and you're persevering, and Allah's testing you, where the military definition is the war. That's the fighting, and they're fighting to get they're fighting for like a certain type of Islam to be the
Right.
dominant force.
Exactly. And so that's what we see with, this holy war and with white supremacy. And I also want to add too, if you guys just think white supremacy just came out the cut, it happened as long as the first enslaved Africans touched here in the United States. It's always been some type of form of white supremacy. It's just evolved, right? And I think
Exactly.
a lot of times white supremacy been around, like I said, since the first slaves touched the soil of the United States. Your grandmama, your mama, us. You can go back centuries and we can all have stories about white supremacy. What do you think the KKK is? They're just pretty much a sect of white supremacy that's been terrorizing black folks since 1865 and
Now
sooner than that.
let's really talk about the KKK, because they like to present themselves as a Christian organization, but if you really look
Mm-hmm.
into what they do and their terminology, they're more of an occult organization, and they do a lot of ritual activities.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's touch on the rituals that they do. People don't go deep enough in regards to the occult and thinking about like rituals that they perform.
Okay, one of the things that they do, I believe it's called Light the Night, or Light the Right, or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And it's when they burn the cross, and they're not doing that because they hate God. That they call themselves is doing is lighting the fire of God. They're doing it for God in their own twisted way. And if you look at the different type of levels of membership into the KKK, you know, you have your average Klansman, then you have your Grand Wizard and your Grand Dragon. I mean, those don't sound
Mm-hmm.
like Christian terms to me.
Not at all. They don't sound angelic. That sound more demonic, evil, um, pretty much things that, are going to cause death to other
Yeah.
people. Correct. Go ahead.
And let's look at this New Zealand shooting.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is, because it's a global system of white supremacy, what people don't understand is that they're all on code. They
Mm-hmm.
they're all pulling from this one book called the Turner Diaries.
Mm.
And so what the Turner Diaries is, it's pretty much the holy book of a white supremacist, because it's about this group of people. They're these white people. They're fighting the government because they think that the black people got too much power, and it's a really deep read. We can talk about that maybe in the future episodes or something like that. But see, the thing is, a lot of them are trying to spark the revolution. And if you look at domestic terrorism throughout the centuries, you're going to find that a lot of the white supremacists, especially Timothy McVeigh, followed the
Mm-hmm.
Turner Diaries to the T. And when they pulled his truck out of that federal building, he had a copy of the Turner Diaries sitting on the seat.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm. Facts. Exactly.
what
But
they're doing,
people don't think. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, so what they're doing is they're sending out these coded messages trying to incite the right or incite the riot within white society.
Right. And you see it, like you mentioned in New Zealand, you see it, just go on your social media, just with black folks getting harassed in the stores. What was the last one? The lady in Connecticut just
Oh,
going
yeah.
off and spitting assault, and we'll get into that. Assaulting,
Biological warfare. I
biological
know what that one
warfare,
meant.
chemical warfare. See, warfare is not just only physical. We have also biological. We have chemical, and all the failures in pretty much in your neighborhood. Why? Because white supremacy. They're not going to have that in their neighborhood, and
Hmm.
so we have to understand what we getting ourselves into, and that's the segment to number 2 on our list. There are no official agencies going to protect your constitutional rights against white supremacy. And we're
And
thinking, oh, I'm gonna call the police. Even the police is out here just on code as well.
And okay, now let's define on code. When
Mm-hmm.
we say on code, what we mean is that okay, you have a black person and a white person. A white person harasses a black person says, "Hey, stop harassing me," okay? The white person gets offended, calls the
Mm-hmm.
police show up, and the black person says what happened and the white person says what happened, but the police officer is on code in his action, which is going to say, well, you shouldn't be harassing her.
Exactly. So they're gonna flip the script on you.
Yes, exactly, because they have a code system. They have an honor system about being white.
Right. And a lot of times we often forget black folks, certain black people are tools of white supremacy. So when you
Yes.
see a lot of black folks, they're also on white supremacy code, especially if they are policing, because they gotta be with the brothers of blue. Like I have a code, I have a pretty much brotherhood, sisterhood with this person. I gotta be on code with them. When you see
Yep.
celebrities, caping for these white folks, Daniels, Caesar,
Now,
why
who
you
is this
guys?
person? I've seen people going off on him. Who is this?
He is this UK R&B guy. I know that he had a song with her, and he just like was caping for this white woman because she started crying and black people. pretty much ADOS folks, you guys are terrible against white people. They are amazing. And he was just caping for this white woman who pretty much probably was the troublemaker in the situation. And he did this whole video and reprimanding black folks to do better, to pretty much be on code with white supremacy. So that's a tool. He's being a tool. And so
He
he
was
got
also
dragged.
probably caping for some pink badge, but anyway.
Right, in which we'll do an episode on that. So that's what we talking about with agencies. The agencies doesn't have to be anything like, okay, it's other things besides police force. You have celebrities, you have politics, you have, education. Because let's think about public schools. Who's mainly teaching in public schools? There's probably
White.
like 70 white women. And what white women are trying to do, feminize the black boys, trying to send them in jail. Prisoner pipeline, special education. Oh, your child need ADHD. So they're on code with that. And then who's going to be at the table with the ISP, the individual service provider? It's going to be the white principal, the white
Mm-hmm.
school psychologist. So that's white supremacy within itself in different agencies. It's not just, the police force, because all of them are paid by a certain system. And they all are intertwined and intermingling with each other. And like, oh yeah, because the kid will go from second grade, they can't read. Here they go in high school trying to lock them up at 15, 16 years old. So they all on code.
Yeah. And another thing that we can do to protect ourselves against these agencies is that we need to learn the Constitution.
Yes.
Especially the Second Amendment.
Which
is for us the right to bear arms.
That's
exactly. The number one thing that we need to learn. We need to become, in my opinion, as ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, we need to probably look into being at least constitutionalist on paper.
Right.
Because, see, if you listen to white people talk, none of them care about the Constitution.
They don't.
Not one of them care about the Constitution. So what they do is they just get louder and louder and louder, and then they start into the name calling. So if we become constitutionalist, at least on paper, at least have a firm understanding of the Constitution, we can probably shut down a lot of our altercations with these race soldiers.
Definitely. And that goes back to taking time out to read, to comprehend, to process. And also, once you have the knowledge, share the knowledge with others. And I think a lot of times Black folks, especially if they are not accustomed to seeing anyone bearing arms, let's say if they folks are from the South, like my folks being from the South, my uncle, a lot of folks in my family, even my aunties, always bear arms. So that was like the norm for us, because guess what? In Michigan, with the militias, another white supremacist group, they teaching their babies pretty much out the womb how to shoot, how to protect themselves. I always say how to protect their neck. And they coming for you. But if you're like, oh my God, I don't know, if that's, it's that whole morality thing. I guess it's like, should I do it? Because my pastor say that's not the right thing to do, or whatever the case is. No, you need to protect yourself and your family.
That's true. I think a lot of the times, especially like with the educational disparities in black society, I think that a lot of the times Black people vilify guns to their children. So they make the gun taboo. So like, ooh, I don't want to mess with that, or no, thank you, no, like, So I think that once you remove the stigma from guns and you learn that they are tools for protection and not just to walk around flashing, I think that that once we get more comfortable with guns, the issue wouldn't be so terrible.
Right. Exactly. And just do some research. Like there's a lot of movies. I can't think of the movie right now, but it was based out of Louisiana, and it was actually they were a town being terrorized. It was an all-black town being
The Deacons
terrorized
of
by.
the Fence,
Yes, thank you, thank you. Go watch
Bogalusa,
that
Louisiana.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, they was bearing arms. They was preachers, pastors, deacons. They had to band together and say, "Hey, we need to really, you know, practice the Second Amendment." And so, like I said, that's in the South. So I would suggest everyone to watch that movie and have a conversation with your family members. Do research on how to bear arms. Do research on how to know how to, license to carry. I was in Georgia this past weekend, visiting my folks, my my uncle and I. They just so country, and like my aunt like pulling out the burner, then my uncle had the burner, and I was like, okay, like yes. And then my aunt ran down the list of everyone who's licensed to carry, and she's like, that wasn't shocking to me. Now, if it was someone else, they probably would have been floored, and we would have had to like take them out on a stretcher. But that's the norm because people are ready to come at you. People are at war with us, and we're just like, what are we gonna do? Hug them? We're not gonna be hugging racism or white supremacy away. Like, don't listen to Cory Booker and all these folks talking about, they just need a hug. No, these people are ready to blow your head off, and we've been seeing this from day
Speaking of
one.
Cory Booker, man, what is the big thing with them trying to say how much he loves women?
Listen, they trying to not make this man single. They want to make sure that he is heterosexual and he loves women, and they just placing him with any old body. And I'm like, what's her name? Rosario Dawson. He was with Gail King. I'm like, okay,
Are you
she's old enough to be your.
serious?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
So that's another topic of discussion we have to have, but it's a agenda behind that, right?
it's like one of those things where it's like, I've never heard a presidential candidate say having to confirm that he likes women.
So that's a problem. And
And
that's
it's
going
like
back to what we said.
he's sitting up here with Rosario Dawson. The last I heard, she was dating that little weird nigga. What's his name? Andre?
Oh, I know. Andre something. I was like, what? And then she dated Jay-Z. I'm like, okay.
I mean,
Listen,
but let's be real. She's like an old Hollywood pass around at this point. She's almost a
she,
hag.
she is. She really is. Look at Cory Booker. He is too. He just got to prove that, he got that masculine energy. Okay. Y'all know how we have to go off script sometime. Okay. This is my favorite one. We're going to go to number 3. Being sensitive or emotional about this reality would not help you. You must think strategically at this point. This is my favorite one because people, they just get in their feelings so much about white supremacy. Like I said, it was just invented. This has not just been invented. This been created since our ancestors been on this side of the world. And getting
Exactly.
in our feelings is not going to solve anything. Strategic. Let's talk about being strategic because a lot of times we want to just have these rebuttals, these arguments, and we're not being strategic and we just putting all our business out there.
Yeah.
A lot of times we have to just have a notebook and just be strategic with yourself, with your family, and like really have a survival tool and really teach the knowledge to your family, your children about what we're up against. Getting in your feelings, doing the ugly cry, falling out, that's not going to solve anything.
Here's the thing. As a black person in America, you should always expect to be harassed when you leave your house.
Right.
So you can't get over emotional about something that you already know is going to happen. Um, Saying that, so like if you do get stopped by a race soldier or police officer, however you want to call them, never give them more information than needed. Just act like you're a prisoner of war. Name, rank, and serial number.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
there's a scene in this last Planet of the Apes that came out with Woody Harrelson. Have you
Mm-hmm.
seen it?
No.
I suggest you watch it because like it's really heavy. It's a part where Caesar, the lead ape, he
Mm-hmm.
captured And Woody Harrelson, these are like all these white people, these humans, quote unquote, and they're dying off, okay? They're
Hmm.
getting these diseases and they're dying off, and the monkeys are okay. Nothing's wrong with them. Hint, hint. But
Mm-hmm.
but what's going on is like Caesar's captured, and Caesar, he's like really trying to plead his case. And Woody Harrelson, he just looks at him and he says, "You're so emotional. That's what's wrong with you guys. You're so emotional." And that was just like, oh my God, okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And even we had this conversation before. Whenever you have to confront white supremacy or just white folks, you better be strategic and have your points already ready to go. Because
Exactly.
trust me, they're going to weaponize you and try to make you feel so inferior, make you feel like you're dumb. So the whole gaslighting. So you better have your points be strategic. Because as I mentioned before, when we sleeping, as my mother and grandma said, they up strategizing on
Here's the thing.
how. Go ahead.
They want to, everything that they do, technologically, societal wise, anything like that, they're doing it at your detriment.
Mm-hmm.
They could have a bucket of sand, and you see them, they're looking at the sand, they're breaking down the molecules under the magnifying glass and everything, and you go up to them and you say, "Hey, Steve, what you doing?" And he looks at you, he says, "Well, hey, Jamal, I'm looking at this sand and I'm trying to see how I could use it against you."
Mm-hmm.
And you just we're silly. They're like, "Oh, okay, whatever, man." And then next thing you know, black people everywhere are going to the beach and then their skin is falling off.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you didn't listen. And another thing about being strategic, you have to listen. You have to watch social cues. You have to study people's behavior. Hence, that's why we're the herbal social scientists, because they studying us.
Yeah.
They studying how we move, they're studying how we think, they're studying our social behaviors, they're assessing, they're looking at, okay, let me study them and see what's the
And don't
next move
think
we're gonna
that
make.
that one little white person that you let hang around you, they might come to the hood to buy some weed and might have a drink with you or something like that. Don't think that they not watching you.
Exactly, because they watching you. Let's you saying that, that makes a good point, because I love music and I love, how music started. Just think about all these Mississippi down home blues and how all of a sudden white people, I love blues, I love jazz, because they brought themselves down south,
Mm-hmm.
and they was strategically saying, how they know how to stroke that guitar chord like that, and they don't know how to read music. So that's how a lot of this, the entity of music's happen, and why they're the executives and you're pretty much on a PlayStation and they own you. So
Yeah.
they're very strategic on when it comes to, like I mentioned, entertainment, politics, education. They're studying us when we're coming out the womb, when our mothers pretty much are going to their prenatal, visits. They're studying, and that's why you have algorithm. That's why you have
Yeah.
all these things going on, because they're studying us. But we're, like you said, we're being silly, like, oh, no, they ain't. Y'all just being, paranoid. No, you have to really be 10 steps ahead of them. And like you
Because
said, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, white people, they have no problem telling you what they're doing, but we don't take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
We're serious about not being serious.
Right. Right. We like to play around too much. We like to be play. No, there's no time to play around. There's no time to play around. When someone tells you something, you better take it and be like, okay, I don't care if they're having a bad day, they're having a good day. You better, if they saying something, you better like analyze it like, oh, okay. They said this. Don't be like, oh yeah, right. Because it's a strategy. Mm.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Ooh, we're gonna go on to number 4. You have a constitutional and God-given right to protect yourselves by any means from white supremacist terrorists. Oh boy.
Weaponize everything. Weaponize
Yes.
everything. I remember I was watching some videos from that Charlottesville protest.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this old white supremacist man. He didn't look like he could throw throw a punch that would knock down a pillow. But what he
Hmm.
did, he had a cigarette lighter and a can of like spray paint. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he was making a flamethrower, using it against the black people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, you know what? That's low key smart because he knows he can't fight.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's a hint to the tribe. If you know you can't fight, you frail, whatever the case is, you better be innovative and figure out how you're gonna protect yourself, protect your neck, protect your folks. And I always like to tell people this: go and do some type of physical activity, because you never know when you gotta run up on somebody or run the other direction. When you gotta throw a blow, when you have to do certain things with your body, you need to really be physically fit. Because guess who's in the gym? When I go to my gym, I can count the number of black folks I see in my gym.
Might be two or three, and they're usually
Right.
like the older guys that are trying to, keep themselves up.
Exactly. But like my gym, I do see, I can count because I know all the black women go in my gym. It's about like 4 or 5 from different age range. And we be up in there like, let me lift these weights. I know I'll be saying, because if I gotta toss one of y'all, trust me, I don't care. I'll break my nails. I have no problem with that. If I have to toss one of y'all, slam one of y'all, and stomp you out, I have no problems with that. But you have to be physically fit. So ladies, that's cool. You do cardio, but also lift some weights. Do not let your hair or all this other foo stuff get in the way, because we're at war. And if you letting stuff like that get in the way, imagine when we really have to protect ourselves. You're done. You're absolutely done.
Mm. You said it all.
All right. So we're going to move on to number 5. Do not let the media or politicians fool you with defective terms like left, right, fascism, etc. The issue is simply white supremacy.
Very much so. See, what we need to do a show about decoding dog whistle languages that the white supremacists use. Terms like Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago just means all black people.
Right. And I used to live in Chicago, and that's all you see. Unless you go to in North Side, that's you're gonna see all the white folks. South Side, West Side was mainly South Side black folks.
Yeah, I've heard Chicago's is still a very segregated city.
Oh yeah, it's the top. I think it's like the top 3, and it's the number 1 city that's segregated, Boston.
Oh yeah.
And we could have I could do segments on that. Um, so okay, so you said Chicago. What else?
Chicago is a term. Also, urban is another term.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. I'm trying to think of terms that white people use for each other. Fine people. That just means white people. When they're talking about usually when they're talking about the term Western, that's meaning white people. Uh, can you think of any off the top?
Are we still here?
Yeah, we can hear.
Oh my goodness, it's just like cut off because we're just going in. Keep going, because you said last time I called you said I heard urban
Yeah, okay.
as a
Urban is
term.
also a
Mm-hmm.
term used for black people. Fine people or human usually means white people. Um, Dindu, that's another term that they use.
Mm.
Because I like to go on the white supremacist message boards. I like to look at the language that they use. And
Dindu.
Dindu is a term that's like, it's short for Dindu nothing or Dindu tribes or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, they have a lot of deflective terms, and we get caught up in them. I think I tweeted about that. We get caught up in the terms, and we think the terms are for us.
Yeah.
Boy, do we get fooled by the terms. And we be saying the terms. And that's why they side eye us like, hold on, what? No, we're talking about you.
And look at like
And
the whole uproar over the term nigga. They called us nigga so much that we start calling ourselves nigga, and now they want to call us nigga again too.
exactly. And then they want to say, hey, I could say nigga at the concert because Kendrick Lamar said it. And I think one time he stopped the concert. I know it was in Alabama. And he was like, no, you can't say that.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. It
Big
was
up
very interesting.
big ups to Kendrick for that one.
Yeah, shout out to K-Dot for saying that. So he just stopped the whole concept, was like, no, you cannot say that. So, it's just now they are saying nigga. Look at going back to the video with the lady in New Haven. She was like, nigger, and you nigger, mother effer. And I was like, okay, mm-hmm. I was like, she said that all the time. Like, it was just like, it just flowed out. And then a lot of
Yeah,
times, that's what they call you behind closed door anyways. And then they be like, oh my God, I'm sorry. No, that's in your regular vocabulary.
exactly. Y'all say that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we're gonna go down to number 6. This is an interesting one. The white supremacists are on a ethnic cleansing campaign. They have set up a system to kill you with impunity. Oh,
Let's talk about this ethnic cleansing because this was actually one of my favorite topics in the list. Gentrification,
yes.
uh, directing natural disasters toward black areas, i.e., Katrina, and
Mm-hmm.
i.e., what was it a couple years ago with the Houston floods?
The Houston flood, and don't forget the Gullah Geechee corridor from North
South Carolina.
Carolina to
Yeah.
Florida, because it's a whole corridor that they have purposely flooded out so they can also get that rich land and turn it into resorts.
Yep. All right, but let's talk about the gentrification thing because see,
Mm.
white flight in the 60s made white people want to go to the suburbs because they didn't. Let's just put it out there what it was. But see, now they're tired of the commute. They're
Mm-hmm.
having to drive 30, 45 to an hour to get to work. So they want the cities back.
Oh yeah, and they getting them back.
Oh yeah, they're pricing black people out. And see, the thing is, they're not even putting black people in the suburbs. They're putting black people out into the middle of nowhere where they can just pop up a plantation real quick. Because I think they're really trying to get us back on a plantation.
I think they're trying to get us back on a plantation. And let's think about, like you said, in the middle of nowhere. Like I think about the spots where I'm from. No transportation, food deserts,
Mm-hmm.
piss poor school systems, housing is just redlining. Let's be honest,
Yeah.
redlining. We're talking about, like you said, you have to now commute 2-3 hours into your job. Let's say if you work downtown or somewhere in the city. So they're taking their area back. And the number one city of gentrification, I read an article this week, DC. If you
Oh
ever
yeah.
been to DC, and
Yeah.
I'm like, how do y'all afford to live here? Because it's just the prices are astronomical. There's no way any of us, because we don't have any wealth, and
Yeah.
45 million folks are living off their inheritance. There's no way we can afford to live in DC's, the Boston's, let's see, San Francisco, Oakland, Bay Area. Oh, Atlanta. Oh my God. I was
Oh
just
yeah.
in
Atlanta is
Atlanta.
getting gentrified. Let's talk on Oakland for a minute because I'm born and raised in Oakland. When I was growing up, you couldn't find white people in Oakland, and if they were in Oakland, they were probably on crack.
Mm-mm.
I went back to Oakland a little bit ago, and I didn't recognize where I was because I saw so many white people. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not on crack.
No, they
Running
were,
it.
yeah, just jogging down East 14th. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
And when you say who the fuck are you and you see them like running in the areas, you're like, Yep, gentrification is here.
They usually throw up their pirate flag, which is a Starbucks.
Oh, of course. And Whole Foods. Don't forget Whole Foods gotta come right after
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
when you start seeing them jogging in other areas or walking their dog at night at like 11, in Roxbury, me being from Boston, and you're like, this used to be combat zone. What are you doing over here walking your Yorkshire Terrier over here in your
Walking your
North
corgi.
Face? But I don't think many of us understand that gentrification is a agenda to cleanse you out of there. Like I think about my neighborhood. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, and I go in my neighborhood now. They're trying to really. I mean, houses are like $500,000-$600,000, and my parents bought my childhood home for like $20,000 in like early 80s. Now you can't even look in that direction. You're like, oh my God, how much is that? And the houses are like colonial style. It's Boston. It's old.
Yeah.
And they're, jogging in the neighborhood. And they actually have the audacity to even knock on the door and say, are you selling your house? And you gotta look outside like, is there a for sale sign? I'm willing to pay X amount of money in cash to get you out of there. And then what you gonna be like, yes. Because we get caught up with the bag. Because we
It's,
don't
we
have
get,
it.
yeah, we want the semantics. We want to be able to be like, oh yeah. And what really they're gonna offer you that cash money because it's still 20, 30, even $100,000 less than what they could probably get for it.
Mm-hmm. Facts. That's gentrification. And the system to kill you with, and oh, now that one there.
Yeah, let's go back to these natural disasters that they direct towards black areas. Because see, what they do is that they can funnel water in certain directions.
Mm-hmm.
So in Katrina, what they did, they funneled majority of the water to the Ninth Ward
Right.
because Ninth Ward is where majority of the black people were.
Mm-hmm.
And in Houston, they were doing it. Uh, I can't think of the name of the neighborhood, but it was like a 90% black neighborhood.
Was it like the third ward?
Yeah, yes,
Mm-hmm.
there it is. And they were doing that to these people, and these people, their flood insurance just stopped working.
Yep. It stopped working. They, even the car insurance flood. It was like, oh well, not working. Exactly.
And it's just like you can't just do that. These people have been paying this amount for this very reason,
Mm-hmm.
and they just stopped working on it, and that really upset me because those houses they're gonna just buy them up because they're so waterlogged. They're just gonna sell them for 10,000 a pop.
Exactly. And then they're gonna flip them, and let's think about like the selling price once they flip them.
Yeah,
So, we don't think about it in terms that way. Even, like I said, with the corridor, the Gully Geechee corridor, people just think South Carolina, but you have that whole coastal region of North Carolina all the way down to Florida. That's where, they held on to their heritage there. And I remember I went to a conference and I learned all about the corridor and how they purposely flooding the areas there because let's think you got Hilton Head right next to where the Gullah Geechee, they hate it. They building these $1 million homes, golf course, and they're like, this piece of land is just rich in history. We gotta take it. We gotta flood y'all out.
it's
We
not
gotta
even that
flood
it's
y'all out.
rich in history because they put the black people there because they didn't want to look at them.
Exactly. And they're like off in
Now
this
they're
like
like,
deserted
man,
area.
they made this place real nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for y'all to
Exactly.
go.
It's time for y'all to go. We're gonna put our golf course right here at Hilton Head. So you guys think about it when you go. For the listeners, go on vacation. You go to South Carolina and go check out what I'm talking about. You're gonna be like, interesting. I'm on Hilton Head, or what's the other one, Myrtle Beach. You got like a little community right over there, and you're like, okay, why is that community undeveloped, and where them black folks come from? Don't worry, you go there in the next summer or two, they will no longer be there, and it's going to be a quote unquote natural disaster. quote
Yeah.
unquote natural disaster. Oh my God, what happened to those people? So these things are done on purpose. And guys, just don't take what we're saying for face value. Do your research, do your due diligence, and really research what we're talking about. Go to these conferences, and people are giving you the real story. Get on some of these calls, because a lot of times they have a lot of calls on, what's the development, what they're doing. So don't
Yeah.
just take for what we're saying.
When
Actually,
the Houston stuff was going on, they were going around just interviewing people because everybody was in these shelters and everything. And there was a homeless man that they interviewed. I swear to God, I've seen this video a couple times. It's a true story. He said that there's certain rooms that we can't go to. There was like a Red Cross shelters, like it's certain rooms we can't go to. They're killing people back there.
mm-hmm. Right. And
And,
remember with Hurricane Katrina, what was they busting those people to? Because remember they were just putting people on buses and busting them out of there. Where? And some people like, I haven't heard from my family. They just got on the bus and never seen them again.
oh, but all these old white people now they got their organ transplants. Okay.
Okay, right. That's
And
another episode we'll do.
let's talk about this because there's a military document that's available online for download, okay? Everybody listen to this. It's called the FM 6-2003 Military Ethnic Cleansing Operations.
Mm.
And what it is like after a natural disaster happens, when you're going in to get the people, the ones that won't move, basically kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And it really shows how they orchestrate this, because a lot of militias go down there under the guise of helping, but they're really
Mm-hmm.
just hunting.
Exactly.
You need to listen to some of the stories of people that survived Katrina, because they'll tell you that like you had white people going around saving dogs and cats, but left the people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they gotta get their dogs and cats now.
Well, they're their lovers.
Exactly. They gotta save them. Looks like, oh, black person, no. Oh, little Fluffy. Oh, yeah. Wow. So you guys check that out. Like I said, do your due diligence, and we're giving you all some really good suggestions. So take time to check that out. That's that strategic plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to number 7. You are under no obligation to allow white supremacist terrorists to murder you. Defend yourself at all costs. This is like the third one that's talking about protect. I like to say protect your neck. This
Yeah.
is like the third one saying protect your neck. And I
You
mean, like
could.
we can go on and on about defending yourself. This it's a reason why it's keep being repeated on here, because you can't be out here just, oh, you can do whatever to me. You have to defend yourself. And for my
Learn your
men,
state's gun laws, honestly.
yes, please do.
And
Please.
even if you got a pocket knife on you, that's better than nothing. And
Yes.
don't be afraid of, buying pocket knives and keeping them on you, because as long as they're not over 3 inches, they are not deadly weapons.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Protect yourself at all costs, not just a limited cost, at all costs.
Yeah, and
Oh,
apply for a concealed carry. It's like basically $100 where I'm at, and a weekend 8-hour class.
exactly. I think that's the same here too. And I mean, like, come on now. You spend what? You spend a weekend binging Netflix. Y'all
Yep.
Netflixing and chilling. You can, actually go do that the weekend. It's not going to kill you. Come on now. Okay.
Another
Whew.
thing is, if let's look at the price of guns. You can get, say, a standard 9mm pistol. You can get that for $250.
Exactly.
Y'all
And what
spending it on
y'all?
Jordans anyway.
I was just about to say that you spending it on a sewing. Like, we're not trying to down anyone, any of our listeners. We're
No, no,
educating. It's just like,
not we
use
don't
your
do that.
money wisely.
Yeah.
Invest in your health. That's the key thing too, because you have to always be alert. You have to invest in your health, and like, hey, $250, that's a good investment. $40 membership, that's a good investment.
Yep.
Taking a physical, if you got to take one of those self-defense classes, that's a good investment. Come on now. Don't say you don't have the resources, but you're getting bottle service at the club. That's not going to do anything. Somebody can knock you upside your head with that bottle. And then, because you're so frail and so weak because you didn't take care of yourself, you may be dying instantaneously. So invest in defending yourself. I don't think we have those conversations. We don't have those conversations. We talk about, oh my God, self-care. Self-care is also self-preservation. It's also, defending yourself. So look into that. Whew, man. Okay. So number 8, this is a good one. Don't let any non-Black groups pacify you with marches, church visits, prayers, and sympathy. If they are not willing to punish white supremacist terrorists for harming you, they are wasting your time.
Exactly. Don't believe in this POC, person of color coalition, because person of color is pretty much a pet of a Caucasian.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, good one. Pet of a Caucasian. Lord have mercy.
And who has color? White people can go lay in the sun and they could get a color. Might be red, might be bronze, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But they're colored. So why are we so afraid to say we're Black people?
You know what? That's always been one of my pet peeves. Like, we always like to say, I'm a person of color. Well, this is not Crayola. We are, for real. Like, it's like, we're not Crayola. We are Black people. We are, yes, and I know y'all don't like to hear this, we're descendants of slaves, of sharecroppers.
Yes.
And, I understand y'all don't like to have that conversation, but it is what it is. We are Black people. And then, I understand people want to say melon. I mean, some white folks got melon too. Indians have melon. A lot of different groups have melon. We are Black people. So stop pacifying yourself. Well, I'm a person of color. Like, ma'am, no, you're Black.
Yeah. Person of color, that is for the racially ambiguous crowd.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Where they can't necessarily call you Black because you may or you may not be, but you're colored.
You're colored, and then sometimes you passing. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass today because I'm just tired of dealing with white supremacy. So I'm going to be part of the tanning of America.
Yeah.
Yes. So be unapologetically Black.
And don't let the church dissipate the energy either.
I have to take a breath on that.
Well, what?
No, you're correct. I have to take a breath on that because do you understand how many of our people are pacified by the Black churches and Black, well, we're all part of the human race.
That's because they've been bought and paid for. That whole tax-free act that Bush
Yes, Bush initiated the faith base.
Yeah.
Go look that up, everyone. The faith-based initiative. And so, like Renee said, they've been bought and paid for it. And so you go to hear this rhetoric every Sunday. We are an organization of humans. Then they're just like pausing. Like, but okay, for instance, let's think about that because we have all these quote unquote people of color, Black folks in Houston that was getting flooded out. What's your man's name? The one that like the devil?
Oh,
Joel Osteen.
He's not even a preacher. He's a motivational speaker.
Exactly. And he wouldn't even open the church, as the old Southern folks would say, for y'all. Because he was at the crib. His house wasn't getting flooded. But y'all, and the third ward was getting flooded, and y'all paying y'all more than 10% tied to him. And y'all getting pacified and pretty much, I like to say, getting rocked to sleep because, he said that we are a human, organization. We don't see color here. And please, that's what I want to say. And whenever you hear white folks say, I don't see color, you better weaponize yourself and check them. You see that shirt you put on today?
If they that blue shirt color, on, they don't see you. That's a word.
They're dismissing. So that's going back to what number 5, they're deflecting, they're dismissing who you are as a Black person. So don't ever let anyone be like, I don't see color, you're the homie. No, they seen
I
that,
don't
like I
think
said,
of
blue
you as
shirt.
Black. That's
Right.
another word they use.
That's another one. That's how they pacifying you and rocking you to sleep, because I don't see color, but you Black. And then you trying to escape that. Oh my God, they don't see me as Black. And here we go. I'm escaping Blackness. Oh, Lord have mercy. Number 8, we could just do like 3 episodes on the
Right, we
Black
can.
church. All right, number 9. There is no moral high road. Uh-oh, here we go again. Needed to defend yourselves from terrorism.
Exactly.
Cheating is allowed when it comes to your survival. Let me repeat this last one. Cheating is allowed when it comes to your survival. This is the 4th time. 4th time. Defend yourself.
See,
Because,
here's the
y'all want to take the high road. Go ahead.
damn the high road. But anyway, here's the thing. It's not about fighting fair. And let's not use the term fair. Let's get ourselves into the habit of using the term just.
Yes.
Okay, but it's not about being just. It's about dominance. If you listen to Richard Spencer talk, he's not talking about a level playing field for everyone. He's talking about dominance. And
Mm-hmm.
he's willing to cheat to get it.
Right. He's willing to cheat by any means necessary to get it. Okay, let's take it to, a lot of people are still on this tip with Aunt Becky from Full House. Do you think that she was like, I'm being fair? They was like, I'm gonna get these dumb little children. Yeah, I call them dumb because old girl probably had like a 1.0 GPA, and I'm gonna get them into USC by any means necessary. So I'm gonna cheat. How y'all think they get into these schools? How you think they get jobs? They have the social capital, and they have the regular financial capital. These people be dumb as a doorknob, and then some of us, oh my God, they're so smart. They don't even know how to get out of a paper bag.
It's not about being smart or dumb, it's about who you know.
Exactly. Social capital. It's about who you know. But yet they want to say that no, they want to throw the buzzwords fair, equity, what's the other one? Equality,
Quality.
intersectionality. Those for you. Oh, we need diversity, aka we need to fill a quota. So we might take one of y'all. We might take one of y'all. For instance, the school in New York only took 7 Black students out of like, I think 350. Go do your Googles on that. But we're like, oh my God, yes, they took 7. They took 7 of us.
And you don't know if they had the qualifications or not. They probably just did a raffle and pulled some names out of a hat. And I'm not saying that to be disparaging, okay? I am not trying to rain on anybody's parade. It's just like this is the games that they play.
Exactly. And this is part of the cheating is allowed when it comes to your survival. So you have to play the game. So, like I had mentioned to you guys, when they calculating and doing all the stuff at night, you need to be doing the same thing. Yes, you may love watching certain type of TVs. You got DVR, but you need to be strategizing. You need to be, being planning ahead for what your survival. And then we like
It,
to be Christianity. I'm going to be the bigger person. Nah, sometimes you gotta be straight savage.
and another thing I just thought about this, about the whole like dog whistle language. Listen to how white people talk about zombies and how they zombie prep. Because zombies are
Hmm.
nothing but black people. If you watch shows like The Walking Dead or anything, which is pretty much what to do with the niggas when they take over,
Hmm.
like you learn a lot of stuff because you see all these people, all these white people, they're riding around their little fucking Priuses with zombie exterminator stickers on them. So I always side eye those people.
Exactly. And then too, wasn't a Walking Dead based in Atlanta?
I have
Something
no
like
idea.
that.
They were in Georgia. I know that. I played the video game, but like I wasn't really into the show. It was too slow for me, and the few episodes I did see in the beginning, you had this big strong black guy bucking his eyes, saving white children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this?
Exactly. And I think it was kind of based in Georgia or Atlanta, something like that. And once again, as Renee said, the zombies are us, black folks. Don't think like these shows are just for entertainment. You can learn a few things from these shows. Just like we talked about Black Lightning, right?
Yeah.
Look at Black Lightning from a different lens. See, a lot of times we have to look at things from a different lens and we're like, oh, and that's based off of Atlanta too. And it's pretty interesting how all the green light, the crack, the Molly
Yeah.
is in the black neighborhoods, and then you in the pod, and they experiment on you. So remember the Atlanta child, oh god, murders when they all these black boys was missing. See,
We're gonna do a show about the Atlanta child murderers because
yes,
there is a whole lot of stuff to that. It was a lot of
exactly,
pedophilia rings and
mm-hmm.
occult ritualism that was going on with
Exactly.
that. Wayne Williams wasn't nowhere in a room when any of them little boys died.
Right. So we're gonna do a show about that. So those are the things we're prepping you on. So like I said, don't just take what we're saying on this podcast and be like, oh, their word is a bond. Research. Look at these documentaries. Look at shows from a different lens, and you're like, oh, this is what they prepping for. All right. So don't just be foolish out here, because it's a war going on outside. And to close it out, number 10, you are in a war, not a protest. Don't show up to the battlefield with just a what? iPhone or a Android. So shout out to all the iPhone folks and or your Android people. Don't just show up. What you gonna do with your phone? Okay, you can record. What
Yeah.
they gonna keep recording while they shoot you? Mm-mm.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing is a lot of black people, we get overwhelmed by the numbers in which white people come at us in this stuff. But see, the military is in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
The military is not physical because well organized small factions are more effective than a big army any day. Let's look at the brothers and sisters in the Haitian Revolution. Shout out to Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
But they were they were outnumbered and they took down at the time the strongest army in the world
Right.
by just planning and execution.
Exactly. Exactly. And you have to plan. That's going back to being strategic. Also, too, I want you all to really book, The Life of Denmark Vesey. He was actually ahead of his time before Nat Turner. He staged the largest slave revolt in South Carolina, right? And what
Yeah,
happened in South Carolina? Like pretty much one of the first slaves came on
they
to
were
South
called the
Carolina.
Brown Brotherhood, the
Mm-hmm.
Brotherhood Board or something like that. They were a bunch of
Exactly.
coons, slave
Mm-hmm.
owners.
Yep. So check that book out. So like we have
And
the warrior
also
spirit. Go ahead. Yeah.
another book to read that really, really does a good job at this is Avoid the Machines by
Mm.
Scotty Vasco.
Mm.
It's an easy read. It's about 200 pages, and what it takes place in this future land in the year, I want to say 2049, 2050 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
where black people are literally fighting the white supremacists, and will they succeed?
Hmm. Interesting.
And the thing is, they weaponized everything from cats to crackheads.
Mm-hmm.
They had crackheads going into buildings and executing like hits, and if they did it and they came back, they could get a hit of crack. Weaponize
See?
everything.
Yep. Exactly. Chemical warfare. So we wanted to do this show because we're seeing the layers continuously being peeled. And as Renee had mentioned, we're coming close into April, which is, what is it? Hitler's birthday. I said Hitler's birthday month.
Yeah.
And you're going to see more and more white supremacist terrorism. So keep your eyes glued onto, just look on social media, do your Googles, look around you. Every day we're being attacked. So that's why we wanted to prep you all for the Black survival, because it's a war going on out here, and we're not safe from it. And, we talked about 4 times defend yourself. So I really want you to really think, how am I going to defend myself and my family by any means necessary? So that's one of your homeworks, right? Is to everything we talked about. Research it. Research how to bear arms. Research, how to get in shape. Research, you may have to, change up your lifestyle. And I mean, fried chicken's good. I like it. I like wings.
Yep.
You may have to cut down because you may have to take some supplements. You may have to figure out, okay, how am I going to be holistically ready? Because it's not just being physically ready. We got to be emotionally ready. We got to be psychologically ready. We have to be weaponizing. We have to be very on top of our game. So that's your homework. Is to really research how you're going to protect yourself. Any
Right.
last words?
Information is free.
Yes.
Take advantage of it.
Please do. And listen to when people are telling you something. I have said that today. I was like, don't hoard information. Information is meant to be shared. And, we're saying and stuff. We do our research before the shows, so we can provide, quality information. And all the links that I had looked up, I'm definitely going to put in our Facebook page. Don't forget to like our Facebook page, The Urban Social Scientists. Tell your friends, tell your family who's ready, because a lot of us are not ready to receive this information yet. Who's ready? Who is ready to receive and also teach, the information that we're given. So, yep. Any last words?
I don't have any, man. I think we did a pretty good show tonight.
All right. So we did a good show tonight. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, The Urban Social Sciences. When we drop our podcast, which is usually on Mondays, please share, please like, please share, please subscribe to all the platforms we're on. We're going to have more information coming up. Also, we forgot to pitch. If you have your Black business, if you are a Black podcast that's in alignment with what we do, please send us a shout out. Please come to the page and inbox us and say, hey, because we're doing advertisement and we want to, give you guys a shout out, and just, all we ask for in return is shout us back out on your pages. That's it. That's easy.
Yep.
So that's it. It's a wrap. So make sure you
Rap
guys,
City, the basement.
Rap City, the basement. Love and light to the listeners, and we are Audi 5000. Peace.
Later days.